Hi guys, and welcome back to the show. Today we're going to be working on making a chocolate chip ice cream sandwich. And I think that just sounds absolutely yummy. And so today we're going to be working with crafts. I'm going to show you. For the chocolate chip cookie, you want to use brown clay. And that's one I have here is the Primo. And you also want to use the Sculpey clay. Today I'm going to be using the tan color. And then for my cream or ice cream, I'm going to be using the white Sculpey clay. Also, other tools you want to have on standby should be a piping tool here. I'm going to use this one. It's a star tip for to make the little swirls in the ice cream. I'm going to also have a clay roller just in case I needed to roll out some clay. My trusty dusty clay scraper. And I also have some chalk pastels and my paintbrush over here. So let's go ahead and get started. So I always say start out with a clean surface area, and you want to make sure that when you're using your clay that you're using the right amount that you want. So for me, I like to stick with the 3/4 inch or an inch of clay so that I don't have too much to work. It's not going to be too big if you want to make it into jewelry or a charm. It's not too gaudy. Now we do, since it's a sandwich, we do need 2 pieces of equal sizes of clay for that. So I'm going to start with these 2 and roll them out into balls. Okay, so just roll them out so they have nice smooth edges. And you're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to repeat the same steps and rolling it out into balls. And these look really fun. Already it's starting to look like cookie dough without the chocolate chip. Whoop, I almost lost the ball. Flying balls. Okay, so here they are. The 2 balls that I'm going to be using. And then I'm going to add your chocolate chip pieces. So that's where I take off a piece of this. And this particular one is burnt umber. I do apologize. I originally stated it was chocolate, but it's burnt umber. I like burnt umber because it gives it a more rich chocolatey look to it than the chocolate itself. I'm going to use my razor blade for this one to give it more realistic chunks of chocolate. Because when you see a chocolate chip cookie, it's not always the perfect shaped chocolate, and those are the best tasting chocolate chip cookies in my opinion. And just be careful with your fingers, guys. I always say take your time when doing your projects. However, for the sake of the video and the time that we have, I'm going to be moving a little bit faster than I usually would with my work. Okay, so these are kind of like finely chopped. Now, another technique could be baking it in the oven so the chocolate is a little bit hard. So this way you have more of a chance to manipulate the clay. So I'm just going to be kind of working it in. And just kind of working the pieces of chocolate into it so it looks realistic and it's not so much. Okay, so we have it kind of smoothed around, and then we're going to press it down like this. Okay, so you have your cookie and you just press it down, and it doesn't have to be perfect because it is a cookie, and if you want you could add more pieces. I'm going to use my ball tool here so that I can handle the chocolate a little bit better. And then once you've worked out the size of how you want your cookie to look, you can add in pieces of chocolate as you wish. Okay, some could be bumpy, protruding at the top. Okay, so this is our first piece for our chocolate cookie. That's going to be the top. And we're going to be texturing it in 1 second. I just want to first get the chocolate pieces in. And I need to make my chocolate a little more fine. Okay. You guys, watch out again for your fingers. Make sure you don't cut your fingers. Oh, so this is one of my favorite treats in the summer, especially, are the chocolate chip cookie ice cream. I think those are so delicious. They keep you cool on the hot days. And also, it kind of gives you that comfort feeling, that comfort food that we also crave. So that's really the inspiration for this one today. Okay, and now we see it's starting to look like a chocolate chip cookie. It really is starting to come together. And again, the chocolate, don't feel afraid to experiment, but your chocolate chunks don't have to be perfect, the perfect size and shape for each one. And I'm just going to play with it a little, have it sticking out, and some parts will be more pressed in for that more realistic chocolate chip cookie look. Okay, so now we have our two together. Now here's the fun part. This is where we are going to be texturing the cookie so that it has a more realistic look. So I use one of these tools to roll over the top of the cookie, and I also can use my brush to pat down on the cookie to give it more texturing. You could even use foil if you want, or you can use sandpaper. Also, the reason I'm using my paintbrush is because I've already applied my chalk pastel. I use the brown and my go-to yellow and orange for that golden fresh baked color, that golden brown cookie color. And I'm just patting around the edges of the cookie in the top. And again, this is for texture. You can also use your tools, and I will be right back. I just forgot one tool. Okay, actually forgot two tools. So the first one I'm using is going to be a brush. This one is better because it gives it more of a texture than that paintbrush could. Okay. And sometimes you notice when you look at a cookie, you'll see little crevices. So I'm just making those little cracked marks like you would see in a cookie, because the cookie is never perfect. It's bumpy, it has lines. Okay, and we want to give it more of a texture here. Okay, so now your cookie should look something more like this. This is a thicker cookie. You have the option to make yours however you wish. If you want to make yours really thin, you could flatten it out and make it thinner, or you can make it thicker. It's up to you. It could even have an irregular shape. Okay. And again, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of this cookie. And then we'll decide which piece we want to go on the bottom and which piece we want to have placed on the top. And again, I'm texturing the bottom so that when you see the cookie from the underside, it looks like it's been baked as well. So I'm going to add some more chalk pastel coloring to the bottom. And I'm going to dip it in a little bit of water and add the chalk pastel again so it sticks to the brush more easily. Okay. So now, guys, again, your cookies right now should be mirroring something of a chocolate chip cookie. And I think these are just so adorable. And you can do fun things if you want to make it like a kawaii cookie. You could add a face. You could take a little teeny weeny ball of black clay and add eyes. You can add a mouth, a smile. But I don't want to make mine with faces. I think I want to keep this one more realistic looking. Okay. So I think I like my cookies. I think they look the way that I like them to be. Okay, so we have the 2 cookies. Now here comes the fun part. This is always my fave. We're going to be using the piping tool. So here you're just going to take your white clay, and it could be any color. If you want your cream to be chocolate cream, go ahead and use that black or brown. You can mix black and brown together. But for me, I want it to look like ice cream, so I'm going to add the white. So how I do it, I put a ball of clay inside, and I use a tool. And use this one to push the clay through. And I'll show you how it looks when it comes out. See that? It comes out looking like the icing or like the ice cream. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. See that? And then what I'm going to do is put even a little bit of clay in the middle, so it kind of gives it leverage, so we don't have to have this going all the way in the inside, the center of the cookie. We can have it be more going around the edge, like that. Then I see unfortunately I didn't put enough through, so I'm going to put a little bit more clay through my piping piece so that it meets the other side. And if you have more than you wanted, that's okay. I'd rather have more than less. So unfortunately, I did not put enough clay in there, and we can always cut it down. Okay. You could also use Fimo Deco Gel as an adhesive on the bottom. You can put it underneath the cookie so that it sticks. And then once you have that, you sandwich it together. So all you should be seeing are the cookies and the ice cream. You should not be seeing that middle piece that we used in there. And you can use scrap clay if you're really like concerned about wasting clay and you don't want to have to constantly be buying clay. You can use your scrap clay to put in places where you're not going to be seeing the clay at all. Okay, guys, so here it is. It's the ice cream cookie sandwich. Yum. I want to eat it. It looks so good. Okay, so now I'm going to put a hole here because I actually want this to be a charm. And this is actually going to be up on my shop. Probably tomorrow I'll post it as a new item in the store. I really like this. I really want it to be a charm. So I'm going to put my hole here through the actual icing. And I'll put the head pin in. Okay, so the last steps will be putting the head pin, the adhesive onto the head pin so it sticks. And then putting it in the oven, 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. Once it's done, glaze it, let it dry, and you're ready to rock and roll and wear it, this baby. I think this looks so cool. Guys, I think this is a beginner's tutorial video. It should have been fairly simple for you. If you have any questions about how I use my technique or what tools I've used, please definitely leave comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I really appreciate the time that you've spent sitting here listening to me yamble on about how I make my clay. If you have any tutorial suggestions, please send them. And again, guys, don't forget to like, comment, rate, and subscribe to the video. And it was so fun seeing you guys again. Thank you for tuning in. Take care, guys. See you next time.